Welcome everyone to come here. Thank you for showing your interest in our event. My name is Angelina Mylink. I will be your host for this afternoon. I see everyone sitting here. You've taken a lot of effort to come here on a Friday afternoon. So I believe that everyone is a cryptocurrency and blockchain enthusiast, and everyone is eager to learn more about this revolutionary yet mysterious technology. And in this space, I know that everyone is fighting to discover new high-quality projects before everyone else does, to discover the hidden gems. Well, you came to the right place. This is exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to introduce you to an impressive blockchain project called Everitoken. And then the team of Everitoken and our panelists will provide you with an educational and informative session, more particularly on the project, and more generally on blockchain technology, distributed ledger technology, and their real-life use cases. Okay, just before we start, I just want to quickly run through our agenda. First item, of course, is a presentation on Everitoken, and the next one will be hosting a signing ceremony for signing a strategic partnership agreement between Everitoken and another blockchain project called CoinChain, which I'll tell you more about in just a little moment. And after that, we will have our panel discussion and Q&A session. Last but not least, the drinks and snacks will be provided, and everybody will be encouraged to do some networking. But before we start, I want to let you know that there's a surprise for everybody. For those who haven't learned, we're going to give the audience here airdrop from the project, but there are two little steps you need to take. One is that you need to join our Telegram group. I'll give you the address afterwards if you don't know it yet. And then the next one is that if you ask questions during this meetup, of course. And also, for the Everitoken presentation, of course, it will be given by the founder and CEO of the project, Brady Law. I'm sure that you've already read his brief bio. I won't waste time to repeat what you already know. Suffice to say that everybody's impressed by his background and professional experience. Okay, without further ado, let me introduce you to Brady Law.
I'm just taking it out because I want to move and interact with you guys. So, good afternoon. Just one quick question before the presentation. How many of you heard of Everitoken before? Oh, more than I think. All right. I thought none of you, but great. Yeah. This is our first time to Amsterdam. Actually, our first time to Europe. So, I gave my first presentation in Europe to Amsterdam. Yeah, this is great city, great river, great view, right? A little bit more about myself. I had both engineering and finance background academically, and then I joined another investment bank after graduation. I worked there for 3 years, and later I started my own ventures. So 2 ventures before. The last venture I did was a mobile game company. I was trying to do something more scalable than my past venture. We developed a very good product, but the thing is, we encountered a problem of traffic. We have no traffic at all, so we have to buy traffic from Tencent, Alibaba in China. But it's so expensive, the cost is even more than our return. So I have to shut it down, and I started thinking what I'm going to do next. I want to do something scalable, but beyond the control of those internet giants. And then blockchain came to my side and found this is this is the future, and it's happening now. And this is a bit about myself. So I'm gonna introduce our project to you guys. Everitoken is a public chain project. As we all know, every public chain has its own mission. I'm sure you guys already know what mission Bitcoin, Ethereum, EOS want to achieve. For Everitoken public chain, we want to be the best public chain or best infrastructure to deal with the tokens and for token economy. So how we look at token economy, this is very crucial. What's the value on-chain currently? So basically, very little. It's almost all cryptocurrencies, all kinds of cryptocurrencies, lots of price fluctuation and speculation, right? 200 billion in total market cap nowadays. Yeah, but when we look at the real human fortune, the massive assets and equities on this planet, owned by 7 billion people, and we believe that they will be tokenized, so that value could transfer easily on-chain. So this is pretty much like what internet giant Alibaba did in the past 20 years. What they did, they brought all the businesses from offline to online, so that today we can easily do e-commerce on a mobile phone, cross-border. But 20 years ago, you never imagined that, right? So the thing I'm talking about here, probably you guys won't agree today, but let's see in 5 years, in 10 years. So we designed some of the core functions and features for this whole tokenization process. Basically, there are 3 core functions. First of all, we want to issue tokens only more conveniently. As we all know, if we do, for example, tokenization on Ethereum, we have to write your own smart contract. But please, I want to ask you guys, how many of you can write a smart contract in this room? Can you raise your hand? All right, just one. Congrats, you are very hot in the industry, right? Yeah, that's the truth. So we want to make it very convenient. You don't need to write codes, because most people, most business, they couldn't do it. Then when we transfer tokens, today, Ethereum offers a crypto user experiences that I want to explain in a later page. But we won't make it free for end users, just like we are using internet today. And third but not least, when we try to manage these tokens, we want to make it more transparent. Again, when you manage anything on Ethereum, you have to read the codes first. Sometimes you have to read other people's code. It's even harder than write your own code. So this is difficult, impossible for normal people in business. To support all these 3 core functions, we need a faster, more secure, and more standardized blockchain, which is Everitoken. So we made a few key innovations. So first of all, we invented a token-based transaction model, which I'm going to explain in the next few pages how it works and what kind of benefits it's going to bring to us. And then secondly, we use safe contract to replace the traditional smart contract layer. And third but not least, everybody's looking for the killer application on blockchain, right? So we believe that micropayments is one of the upcoming killer application, and we developed the first commercially available token payment standard or solution for Everipay that I have real products to demonstrate to all of you today. So about new transaction model, yes, we actually wrote an academic paper on this, and we submit to IEEE Access, our core team members. Hopefully it will get published soon, but if you guys are interested, I can send you now for your review. So I'm not going to the details here, but when we compare the 3 transaction models, there's nothing right or wrong about it. It's all about what we want to do, what we want to achieve. For example, for Bitcoin, electronic cash system, the most important thing for them is to anti-double spending, and then UTXO is the best way to achieve this goal. And then for Ethereum use, their platform of smart contracts, as we all know, the way smart contracts interact with each other is through accounts. So they have the account-based transaction model. For us, we want to deal with tokens best, like we mentioned. So we have the token-based transaction model. And then let's take a look briefly how it works. So for example, on a EOS, account-based blockchain, what is recorded as a transaction? Basically, it's a code or logic execution within the dApp. It's recorded as a transaction. For example, if there are 3 dApps running on EOS, so the way they do parallel performance is that they separate the transactions within dApp A from transaction within dApp B. But for any transactions within single dApp, for example, dApp A, they have to do sequential, which is written by third party. So when you do sequential, it's like two men go into one small door. You have to go one by one. It slows you down, right? So the current CPS is like somewhere around 3,000. For us, it's much different. So why do we call it a token-based publishing? So we record the token state that's changed on our database as the transaction. For example, when we deal with the non-fungible tokens, all of them have a unique ID. We can deal with them. We can deal with these transactions parallel in nature. That's why structurally we enjoy high TPS. And when we launch our testnet on May 31st, our TPS is around 5,000, and we're going to push that to 10,000 by the end of this year, stably, commercially. So this comparison photo shows like the different roles we're going to play when we deal with the tokens or token economy. So Ethereum EOS, they're pretty much like a world's computer. At least they're trying to be, right? Trying to solve all the problems. It's a incomplete platform. Theoretically, it can do anything. On the contrary, we are pretty much like a ASCII machine or a mining machine on the right-hand side. What does it do? It's mining. What else can it do? Doesn't do anything, right? But when we deal with the token core functions, like the 3 core functions I mentioned, we can be like 100, 1,000 times faster and more secure than the normal laptop, right? And here we tells you guys how we use safe contract to replace the traditional smart contract layer. So on a platform, general purpose platform like EOS Ethereum again, they have the smart contract layer. It's so flexible, like every blockchain developer can write your own smart contract. It's a fancy idea, but the problem is so vulnerable. All these vulnerabilities happened before, we all know. There's so many tokens that were stolen in the past, right? So we believe that this kind of core functions can be written in our safe contract to third party, the external applications. They can use our core function by simple API calls, and normal internet engineers could do that easily, right? So for blockchain engineers, which Ethereum and EOS are targeted at, only probably like a few thousand qualified blockchain engineers existing today. But for normal internet engineers who can use API calls, could be tens of millions, right? Easily to use our safe contract core functions. And also on the database layer, we use RocksDB to further boost our TPS up. And this picture further illustrating the difference we play in deal with the token economy. So think about today, every one of us wants to have a car. How many of us choose a car by configuration, like on the right side? And how many of us build our own Batman mobile? Probably none, right? Yeah. So, but if you want 100% car, definitely you go write your own smart contract. But do you have such a huge engineering team? Do you have such a budget? Do you have such huge time for road test? Probably not. Yeah, this exactly shows how long it will take for like to play typical dApps on a typical platform. So we have a few applications working with us already, and takes them probably less than 1 week to use on our platform. But on the contrary, we can see for other platforms like EOS or Ethereum, it's much longer. And you actually after that development, people think it's already done, but not. You need to verify those codes carefully, right? It's a third-party written smart contract. If not, then so many vulnerabilities, problem will happen again and again, right? Free usage. This page is very crucial as well. So one of the problem with Ethereum platform is that their applications offer us a crypto user experience. What does it mean? So for every transaction, every move, for end user, you have to pay gas fee in ETH. But think about how many people on this planet they have ETH. Not too many, right? Less than 30 million. the rest majority couldn't use it at all. But think about internet today again. When we use, for example, WhatsApp, you download for free, you send message for free. That's the internet user experience. That's the massive adoption, right, of normal end users. And by paying mechanism, business side is paying for the gas fee on our system. So the end user don't need to touch the crypto at all, and they can use the applications on our publishing easily and freely. And this is our publishing development schedule. Basically, we started coding from this February. But we started the team last December though. And we are actually quite fast in developing our publishing and launch our testnet on May 31st. And then mainnet on July 31st. Before launching our mainnet, we spent a lot of money on security side. We invited several notable cybersecurity companies to scrutinize our codes one by one. And then we launch our mainnets. Make sure it's quite stable one. We didn't do any rollback. And then Everitoken, we launch on like 2 weeks after the mainnet. So yeah, Everitoken, a little bit about the technology side. So basically, we have the TOTP, which time-based one-time password. So in the past, a typical QR code for BTC or ETH is that it's not changing. It's only receiving money. You can only receive money, right, for that QR code. But when a business wants to deduct money from your wallet, they need a TOTP QR code to do anti-double spending, to reach the security level. So we have achieved that. And then we support offline usage, just like Alipay, WeChat Pay. I'm not sure how many of you use here, but in China, everybody uses Everitoken multiple times. So what does it mean? When you go, for example, when you take the airplane, you are offline. But if you want to buy some duty-free products, you can still use it as long as the business side, they have the satellite internet. Or you're in Amsterdam, you want to, for example, pay for the parking fee, you can still use it. Because the business side, they have the cable internet. So that's called offline usage for us. And the transaction confirmation time. As we all know, what happens before is that why Bitcoin is not suitable for micropayments. We don't mention the gas fee, but we mention the transaction time confirmation. So Bitcoin takes roughly an hour, right? Third, if you pay the highest transaction fee, 7 minutes. For us, it's less than 3 decades. So I'm going to show you the real life product here. This is a normal scanner that you see everywhere, $20, right? I'm going to use my wallet to show you this.
My account?
Right, this is a checkout demo developed by our core engineer. For example, we are staying at a hotel. We are paying, for example, a fancy hotel here, paying $555.
You need to pay more here.
What?
You need to pay more here.
Oh, really? Cool. So next step, I'm going to use my wallet. Of course, it's a crypto wallet. This is our wallet, but it could be any other wallet integrating our SDK. Right? It's TOTP again, time-based and one-time password, changing every 5 seconds. It's already done. From end user, we can see 555, right? You already see this transaction. From the business side, of course, we go to scan site. 555, right? So you guys can see from here. Or you can go to home page. check this pay, right? So you guys already see it? The transaction is done within 2 seconds. So go back to my presentation. So what does 2 seconds mean? Basically means you can do micropayment. When you buy a coffee, you don't want to wait for 7 minutes or an hour, right? I mean, in China, we get used to Alipay, WeChat Pay. It's less than 2 seconds, always. But a centralized system. We're the first one to realize on decentralized platform. TPS, yeah, this is crucial as well. So for Bitcoin or Ethereum, because of their lack of scalability in the past, it's hard to use them for the real payment on a commercial base, as we all know. But look at the Visa, it's achieving 24,000. Alipay, WeChat Pay. Alipay achieved like the maximum of 300,000, but only like one day on Double 11 festival, shopping festival in China. Normal days like 10,000. And we're going to push that to 10,000 by the end of this year, so it's really commercially available. So because of this, we actually won the first prize in the Global Payment Summit. It's a traditional, the reason I want to mention this is a traditional payment summit. All the traditional fintech guys like Swift, Visa, Master, Alipay, WeChat, it's their conference. They gave us this report because they realized that how far we have gone. They still have the mindset that like Bitcoin is not suitable for micropayment. But when they see this, they're like, wow, yeah, you guys are ready for this. And business highlights this page, very important as well. For a platform like Ethereum or EOS, of course, we all know they have a big dream. They're trying to convert all decentralized application systems to decentralized platform. Right? And the two major problems from my point of view. So first of all, those medium-sized or big-sized internet giants, they benefit from the centralized system. For example, we're using Facebook. Who owns the data? Not us, right? The centralized company. So they are not running on like the baby platform, DEX, because they thought it's a baby platform. Ethereum owns like market cap of 20 billion. To them, it's like nothing. Second of all, there's so many high performance required applications, for example, like MMO games, exchanges. They couldn't run on decentralized platform because of low efficiency in nature, right? So what we see is that apps or dApps, they will be coexisting in future. Just like cryptos and fiat, they'll be coexisting in future. So they can both of them can use our core functions by API calls. Very easy. So which means low friction, low user migration cost. In business development, it's very crucial. So some of the applications that are in discussion with Everitoken public channel. We mentioned about Everipay because we believe that's going to be one of the key applications, but also there are so many other applications that's running on Everitoken or will be running on Everitoken very soon. We have 80 applications pipeline. Some typical ones will be like tokenization of art, tokenization of real estate, or certificate, games, tickets, entertainments, yeah, all sorts. We have a huge list for that. But for Everipay, there's one more thing I want to mention to you is that the stable coin. Why? Still, the normal people, they couldn't bear the fluctuation of cryptos. They're not really using crypto payments, although you offer them like high speed, low transaction fees, real-time settlement. But again, they don't understand crypto at all. What they need, it's more like a stable coin. That's why stable coin is so hot these days. So we actually signed a strategic partnership a few weeks ago with our Malaysian partner. It's a conglomerate company in Malaysia. They're going to issue 500 million USD stable coin on Everitoken blockchain and use our Everipay, the payment solutions on their offline merchants. a little bit, I can show you a little bit about their business. Yeah, so this is their shopping mall in KL, the group subsidiaries. So they've got a hotel, they've got a cruise, they've got a casino, basically they got a lot of things. And the first step, they're going to test the license information. So they're going to use HW Cash in both travel and entertainment industries first, and then gradually to retail. If this can really be used in retail, for example, like convenience store, that's going to be massive adoption, and it's daily needs, high frequency. That's called a real killer application, right? So basically, they are a licensed stablecoin issued in Malaysia. So it means when they issue 500 million USD stablecoin, they have to put the same amount real money in a designated bank in Malaysia, which is guided by the Malaysian government. And they have the money broker license as well. What does it mean? They can exchange fiat crypto easily for you. So one of the user experiences in Southeast Asia is that people there, when they use stablecoin, when they're trying to cash out to fiat, they don't want to go online to change it. They want to go offline, for example, in a convenience store. It's easier for them to understand, just like you're buying a gift card, right? I'm not sure about here, but that's the case in Southeast Asia. So some of our cornerstone investors, this are all belong to blockchain industry, Fenbush Capital. I'm pretty sure it's quite famous, and maybe all of you guys heard of it. We got investments from Japan, from Korea, yeah, all over. Yeah, a little bit about our project information. We actually invested in Switzerland, so we are quite neighbors, right? Yeah, finished last round in early June. Yeah, at that time it was quite good. We finished like 10 days very quickly. But nowadays, everyone knows that the market it's quite bare, and yeah, we're spending a little bit more time than that. But of course, we are getting more and more like traditional VC investors as well, because our platform is ready. We want more strategical money. We want more smart money. Help us to develop a real business. Yeah, in summary, a little bit. So because we have the token-based transaction model and safe contract, we call ourselves the first token customized blockchain. We only deal with tokens and for token economy. And we already achieved high TPS, high security, and high standardization. So Everitoken is the upcoming killer application that we believe. Why do we call it standard? Because it doesn't have to be any single token. You can issue your own token and use all these micropayment solutions freely. Yeah, that's why it's called a standard. Business-wise, we have a low friction, low user migration cost. That's why we only launched our mainnet for like less than 2 months, and then we already have like 80 applications on the pipeline because of the low friction, low user migration cost. Okay, so last, I want to give you guys the time about Q&A session. Any questions? If you guys have good questions, you're going to get EVTs. Yes, please.
What is the token-based system or compared with the account-based? I didn't understand what that token-based means.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you are the one who can write smart contract, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna have my CTO to answer to your question. Please, yeah. This is our CTO.
Hello, everyone. I'm Harry, and I will answer in the question the difference between the account-based and the token-based. for the account-based transaction model, if I will transfer some like Bitcoin to him, yeah, and in the system implementation, I need to the system has to do two operations in sequential. Yeah. First, I need to manage my account balance, like 1 Bitcoin, and then I need to add 1 Bitcoin to his account. So it's two operations, but it needs to be sequential. Yeah. Because if we have 3 people, and like I give 1 to him, he get 1 to him, and he give it to me. So all this operation, the 3 operations must be sequential. Otherwise, it will be fail, because if I don't give him first, he can't give him. Yeah. So that's the key point. So if you have many transactions, you need to do all this in a sequential. And for the Ethereum doesn't know what are doing on the smart contract. He just running it. So all the actions in one smart contract, all the actions must be sequential because he doesn't know what are doing. But for the token based means what to do is just change the owner of 1 token. So the tokens are just like the stones, and their owner name are just written on the stone. So if I want to give a stone to him, I just change the name of the stone to him. Yeah. So the stone are naturally parallelized. Yeah. So the operating on the tokens, like the token based, we just change the owner of each token. So the system doesn't need to do it sequential. It can just parallelize all the tokens operations. Yeah, and more specifically on the Everitoken, because we have the safe contract. So all the operations on the blockchain, the Everitoken blockchain knows what are doing now. So we can processing all the transactions more smart. Yeah, more smart. We know what are doing, so we can improve the performance much better than the Ethereum and the US. Yeah.
So make one addition here. Yeah. So easy to understand a little bit more smart contract safe one is that smart contracts are written by third parties. So as a platform like a EOS or Ethereum, they don't know what you're going to written there, right? So you have to execute all of your transaction on a parallel way, right? On a sequential way. Sorry about it. On a sequential way, because they don't know what's going to deal with your actions there. But for our blockchain, all the safe contracts are written by, for example, by our core team here. So we all know all the sequences, all the actions in our safe contract. We can deal with them parallel in nature. Outside parties use our core functions by API calls easily. Yeah. Do you understand? But I will send you the paper. You have to read it through. Yeah. It's like a 20-page paper, but probably you have to read it through, and then come back to us for the questions.
Yes, I understand. It's like each token it have a label, the user or the owner. When you do the transaction, you just change the name of the.
Yeah, exactly.
That means that you always need to have the private key of the person or not?
Do you have the private key of a person?
Yeah, public key in the token.
Yeah. So that's another transaction then.
Well,
in first instance, you were talking about reducing the number of transactions by having it done. But if you need to have the private key to change the name of the label of the Bitcoin, you have then you have an additional transaction.
This is also what I'm about, right?
Yes.
Also, it's You know, for the traditional account based, it's not like you have your tokens, and it's your labeling, your account number, it's your according to the private key.
Right.
And for the token based, it looks almost the same, just the different way of different label. You just change the label.
Yeah, change the name directly on the token rather than on the
And
accounts.
when you change it, you need to use your private key. Right? It's also like one transaction. Also, you need to transfer.
It's one transaction, but we can deal much faster because we can deal with parallel in nature. It's one transaction, of course it is. Yeah. When you change it, it's one transaction, of
I don't
course.
know how you do it, but it seems like if you manage it, it's really like quite smart way. I also don't know how to manage it. And if you really manage it, it's really good.
Sure, like we mentioned, we actually wrote a
Then we need to
full
read the 20 pages.
examine paper on this, so you need to read it through and then we can discuss further. Yeah, the rough idea is about that. Yeah. Yes, please.
I'm an architect of buildings, so I'm completely outside your knowledge, but I have a question. We need to create solar energy buildings, saving carbon dioxide emission. And if you like to prepay or co-finance that with carbon credits, which means that in case you save emission, you can claim money in carbon credits. But it is not accessible for individuals yet, so I'm looking for an instrument to make it accessible, like a so-called blockchain carbon credits wallet. My question is, do you think in case it's a protocol layer, it can be used for that? And how is then the transfer as soon as you exchange carbon credits between buyer and seller? How do you make, is it possible then to make euros and dollars with that? So is there an exchange afterwards from your Everitoken to the currency market? And what is the consumption of electricity? Because if I use Bitcoin or an alternative, it could be that the electricity consumption to do the transactions create more carbon dioxide emission than we save with the buildings. So that is more or less the area my question is in. Is that sensible to answer a little bit?
Yeah, when you mentioned the Bitcoin case, I think you probably mentioned about the consensus algorithm, POW, right? Using the mining machines to do it, right? It's less eco-friendly, right? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, in that sense it is. So we are actually on the consensus algorithm, actually we are using PBFT depots, so we don't really have those mining machines all over the world. But we have more sort of like block producers, dedicated block producers worldwide. So, for example, we're going to have 21 main producers and probably like 65 backups. That's how it works. They maintain the whole network, and in reward, they get the EVTs. They call it the transaction fees and EVTs for the reward, right? It's different from the POW. And regarding the money flow you were asking. So basically you're asking if you do the payment, right? And you want to cash out, how do you do it? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
In case of carbon credits, so it's not every token at that moment. Is it a smart contract then, in case it is carbon credits?
Carbon credits, yeah.
So what happens is you have a zero emission house, you can claim your carbon credits per year. So to avoid double spending, you need a blockchain online administration. So it's your private wallet selling your carbon credits, for example, to the European trade system market. But then it's still every token carbon credit. People say, okay, what's the value of that? So I want to exchange it to something else. Is that possible?
Sure. So basically, you don't need to use EVT as your, for example, denominated currency. You can, for example, issue your own carbon coin, right? Just like the HWG cash here. They issue their own HWG cash. That's the first step. And then you only consume EVTs as a gas fee, the transactions you make. That's called a gas fee. You consume EVTs, right? But the good benefit is that end user, they don't need to touch EVTs. You can basically pay for the transactions fees.